You're listening to Court Reserve Unscripted with me, Ashley Owens. Sweet. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. How are you?
Doing wonderful. I appreciate the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So when I saw you last month at Racquet X, you told me about some pretty big news in your life. More than one big news stories. What's going on?
Well, since we spoke last, actually you and me personally speaking, we spoke 2 years ago, I think it was, and we were getting GoTennis going. Is kind of where we were with all of that. We were focused on players and helping coaches and became a bit of a marketing firm, became a bit of a media entity, a lot of social media work. And then we ended up acquiring the GPTA in Georgia. The GPTA stands for the Georgia Professional Tennis Association. It started in 1977 as the Atlanta Professional Tennis Association. A few years later, switched over to Georgia because they realized there's more than Atlanta. I mean, we don't always think of it that way because we think Atlanta is the only thing that matters, but that's just us. And so what we ended up doing, they came to us and said they wanted to add pickleball. They wanted to expand into other racket sports. It's the time. Excuse me. So we said, sure, no problem. We went through it and they realized as a volunteer organization, they were better off with us acquiring it and running it in the ways that we negotiated. So we acquired the GPTA. We turned it into the American Racket Sports Association, which we call the ARA. We don't call it ARSA for obvious reasons. So it is the ARA, and that has been going full speed since about May. We launched publicly at the RSPA Southern Conference in South Carolina, where we got a chance to sit down with Brian Dillman and some other fun RSPA people to talk about what we're doing. We're doing professional networking, business support, and career services. We've partnered with GSI Executive Search. So we do a lot of work with Andrew Manelli, helping career services coaches. So that's the coach side of what we do. GoTennis still does its thing. We can still help with bulk purchases of merchandise. We can still do online shops for local coaches. GoTennis can accomplish a lot. It's a little more player focused, the online affiliate side of the business. But right now, my main focus, is the American Racket Sports Association. So things have changed a bit in the last couple of years.
Well, that's amazing. I love what you're doing for coaches because I think now in this day and time, there's been a lot of conferences that I've been to recently, and it's making sure that people know that getting into a profession like tennis teaching profession, pickleball teaching profession is a real profession. It's not a side gig anymore. It is a full-on fantastic opportunity to stay healthy, stay on the court, learn a trade, be a part of something that's, a needed profession these days. And so that's encouraging that you guys are focusing on that.
The thing that I learned recently, I've learned seemingly an infinite amount of stuff. It's amazing what there is out there. And I told this story many times, if you've had the opportunity to hear it, about my origins in tennis coaching and the encouragement that I always received from my mentors. You should be part of the GPTA. You should professionally network. This is a real job. And I'm like, I'm only doing this until I get an actual real job. Which what I didn't realize is this is a really great way to live a life. I didn't realize you could make $300,000-$400,000 coaching tennis. Now, most of the guys with the big jobs like that don't do a lot of tennis coaching anymore. They're running programming, the platinum clubs. These guys, there's a lot of money up there, and it's a lot of work. It's real business.
Yep.
And you don't coach a lot often at that level. And there's certain guys coach more than others. But here locally, I'll talk about the guys that we're close to in the American Racket Sports Association, guys like Bill Anderson and Marcus Rucci and Ken Andriano and Dave Dvorak, guys that are mentoring young coaches and trying to encourage these young people to say, there is more to this than you think. And even if you don't want to coach tennis forever, you can get into the marketing side. You can go work for one of the certification organizations. USTA always needs more competent people working for them. So there's a lot to do in this industry.
Yeah, it's awesome. And, somebody like CourtReserve, I mean, we love hiring people in a software tech company that has a passion for racket and paddle sports. And so, because that is the side of the business that we don't have to teach because they already have the knowledge. So it just opens up the door. And so I'm really excited to hear that from your standpoint. So tell me about what 2026 looks like for, it sounds like a wonderful needed trade organization. Is that kind of what you would define it as?
Professional networking is really the easiest way. So I don't know if trade organization is the right phrase. I don't know that we've ever
Okay.
used that phrase specifically, but the professional networking side, we're looking to grow. We want everybody to get connected. Picture LinkedIn for coaches, LinkedIn for industry. We use LinkedIn a lot. The DCA actually does a pretty good job in a niche version of what we're doing. So they're at the upper echelon, the general manager, the decision maker types, and a smaller market. But that's what they're doing. It's networking, it's working together, it's talking about your businesses, it's finding the right people at the right levels. If I'm running a club with 30 tennis courts and you're running a club with 2 tennis courts, yeah, we're both running tennis clubs, but it's not the same conversation. And if I've got 1,000 members and you've got 200, we connect those that really understand each other. And now that we've expanded outside of Georgia, we got our first couple of members, club level members in California that came online this summer, which is just, it's fun to see that kind of growth. But it's networking, it's career, it's getting connected and saying, you know what, my time here is been good, but I'm looking for a director's job. There's nothing really available in Atlanta. Maybe there's something in Dallas, which I don't know. Dallas seems to be a place to be right now.
Right. I love that. And I think that, you know, in our industry, it's good when we can all come together and help each other and we're not really competitors, right? There's competitors everywhere, but if you come alongside people and show up with, something to give them a value, like your friendship or your mentorship, I mean, that goes a long way in our industry, and it's just going to help everyone along the way for sure. So are you guys doing things, around the country this year? Are you going to be doing webinars, podcasts? What does this look like for us?
Webinars, yes. Podcast, of course. We got a bunch of people keep calling me, when's my podcast episode going to be released? I'm like, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. We have a lot planned. We actually just had a long conversation with the team last night about what we learned from the Racket X City Series. And is it possible to do more? Maybe not even the high-end fancy directors only type, but more of those connectivity kind of events. But it's tough to bring in the sponsors, and that's one of the things we learned with GoTennis is if you can keep the cost down for the participants with bringing in a sponsor or a vendor that wants to have those people in the room, you've got a great thing going because people will come to things for free, and the vendors and sponsors want to be in front of those people. And I think it's a great idea. So we're looking at doing things like that. That's tough because you already need your network around the country to make that happen. And ours is just now growing. So you'd need somebody, I think they did quite a few, LA, Dallas, LA, Austin, maybe not Dallas.
Philly, I've done them all. And our
We were
last
there,
one's,
all of them, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, and the last one's wrapping up in Orlando in just a few weeks in January. So, but I think that when we come together again, whether we're listening to a panel or participating in a roundtable discussion, sometimes it's even those conversations on the side, before, after, at lunch, in the middle. It is the power of networking. And I really love what you guys are doing. I mean, so CourtReserve last year, we decided to take our own Catalyst tour around the country. So we go to a city and our admins come spend a day with us. This year, we're going to do it, but it's our 10th anniversary this year. So we're actually including a half day so that we can do roundtables. We can talk about what pickleball programming is working, what tennis programming is working. How are you going to incorporate paddle? Are you going to incorporate paddle? There's so many different things going on in our industry right now. So are we just talking rackets, or are we talking paddles, or are you lover of all things?
We are lovers of all things. So in our logo, if anybody cares about flags and logos, and we spent some time with it. As Americans, we're interested with our flags, right? We got our 50 stars and our 13 stripes. All the things mean something. We did the same thing with our logo. So we have the eagle and we have the 8 stars for the 8 largest racket sports. So we support table tennis and squash. There's not a lot of that in Atlanta. There's a lot of table tennis. There's not a lot of squash, but we support a lot of that. So it is not just when the GPTA came to us and said, we want to add pickleball, basically we said, we go big or it's not going to happen. And they were good with it because it is racket sports now. You need 3 certifications in 3 different sports just to get the job at this point, whether you've got padel at your club or not. So yes, we're lovers of all of it. We actually got together recently with Patricio and we've been talking to Racket Central. We've got a deal with them for our coaches, for our members. They get their 10% off. They can actually make money as an affiliate. So we do a lot of those little things, making the deals, helping the coaches make a little bit of extra money. Because if you've ever been around a tennis coach, they're always looking for that extra little bit, whether it's recognition. We've got our awards ceremony in December that we're sharing all the awards. And we got Player of the Year and Club of the Year and Coach of the Year. So we've got all those things, but everybody likes to fill up their IRA at the end of the year. And tennis coaches are historically bad at it. I'd say the Atlanta ones, where they don't have the matching 401k from a Troon or a PGA Tour.
So, has anything surprised you about starting up this in the last 8 months? Anything surprised you about this?
I would say yes and no. It's hard to surprise me at this point because I've been around long enough that I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I've also been on my own for 10, 12 years to where I wasn't just indoctrinated within a certain system. So the surprise I found, like I said, there's good money if you want to work your way up and get a job at a fancy country club or a large public facility. Those pay well. That surprised me. If my mentors had said, Shaun, you can make $250,000 as a tennis coach, I might have stayed at the time because I just didn't see it. I just saw the grind that I was working out in 2003, trying to make it enough to feed myself. But the surprising thing is the obvious thing as well. I'm surprised the changes haven't been made, even though they're obvious changes. People are still using a pencil for their court sheet.
You're speaking my language, Shaun.
Right. We've met. They're still using a pencil. I think that was one of our first podcast episodes. I think it's called You Still Use a Pencil? And I get it. You want to take some notes, that's fine. But I mean, I get it. There's still some people out there of an age, they don't have a computer. They just text people and hope their lessons show up. And that's probably more of an Atlanta problem because I would guess 50% of our coaches here are unaffiliated and independent and potentially even working out of their car, so to speak. Not living out of their car. These guys do well, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the changes that we believe are so obvious, being able to take a card for payment, just Venmo to these people is magic.
Right.
And so I think the changes that aren't being made is a bit of a surprise, kind of dragging the old guard kicking and screaming into the 21st century. We're starting the second quarter. We're in Q2 of the 21st century, and you'd think we'd be able to kind of, I don't know if that is that a thing? Are you allowed to cue?
No, for sure.
Okay,
absolutely,
good.
Yeah. I also think what's changing is that 5 years ago, tennis instructors, they wanted nothing to do with pickleball. They didn't want to look at it, teach it, talk about it, coach it. And now more and more, just like you said, Jorge Capistrani, you know him? He's an amazing tennis guy up in Holland, Michigan, teaches at the school up there. It's leaving me right now. But he told me, he said, 3 summers ago, all of my students, they were teaching tennis. Now, in order to get the internships, you have to be tennis certified, pickleball certified, and who knows what's going to come in the next couple of years, right? Maybe squash certified, who knows? So times are changing for sure.
Yeah, and that was the surprising thing. The changes that are being avoided.
Mm.
And I get it. There are some diehards. We've got a good friend here in Atlanta. His name is Rob, and he still puts USPTA in his email signature because we are USPTA, hundreds of years, and he's just that type, and tennis only. And I like that. We need that. It's fine. But he's also not going for a director's position at a country club
Yeah, that's so
because
true.
you're not getting that job these days without being versed in more racket sports. And I'd say the software, because you're in the software world and it matters. We get calls consistently from an ARA perspective from other court reservation systems and club management systems saying, "Hey, Shaun, what do you see? Where do we position ourselves? What do you do?" I had somebody call me the other day. You'll appreciate this. Somebody called me the other day and said, "Shaun, I just built this new court reservation system. What's your advice?" And I said, "Go back in time and don't."
Right. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Nobody knows I mean, we're going on 10 years, Shaun.
Yeah.
And it is you always think at some point, Tim and I, especially over the last couple of years, we're going to have most of what people want to manage their club, right? In a software system 8 years ago, 7 years ago. We still don't have it because still people are changing. They want new things. It's like now you cannot go book. You're not going to pick up the phone and call a restaurant and book a table. You're going to book a Resi and open table. You're going to watch Netflix and Hulu. You're not going to pay for cable. Like people are changing with the times and we have to keep technology changing with the times as well.
So if I can flip the script a bit,
Mm.
wait, it's unscripted. Sorry. So if I can flip the non-script we have here, what do you see that I know you do your tours and you're out there a lot and you're sharing, and Tim even does a good job of sharing online. He's a good writer, by the way. He shares the information in a good, palatable way of understanding what clubs might need, even though, again, they're struggling to change with the times. But what do you see that this industry needs? You say you don't have all the features yet. Why not just turn them all on and make them happen and tell people what they need, right?
You know what? So CourtReserve over the last 10 years, people have told us what they need. We had to shut down the idea board in this platform last year because I had over 1,000 ideas on it.
How are you going to keep up with that?
Yeah. And so what we're doing now is, especially now that we were able to partner with main sale partners with our big news that came out last month, now we're able to really strategically look at other integrations, some possible acquisitions, right? So that people aren't having to use 5 different platforms to run their business, right? So we are trying to become that all in one. And now we're very strategic about what that looks like. We want good partners who treat their people well, who treat their customers even better, right? And so it's like looking and hearing from our own customers, what do you need to continue to use CourtReserve and grow and build and expand and be good and frictionless for your players? We need to make it as easy to book a table as it is to book a court, to book a lesson, to book an event, right? And a lot of us and a lot of our competitors in our space today, we've done a good job of building the basis, and now we got to start looking for the easier ways to make sure that these clubs and facilities have everything that they need. So I think the change is being ahead of the game, honestly, and looking ahead to some of the other industries that are using technology, app-based technologies, and saying, what are they doing that's working? How do we make this better and easier for people where they're not having to click 42 buttons to book a court?
I think that was one of the conversations I had with one of the competitors, was trying to get the number of clicks down. That
Yeah.
Amazon buy now button
Absolutely.
is wonderful and terrible at the same time.
Yes, it is. Yes. Do you know we actually I had a conversation with a club the other day, and they said that, in Court Reserve there's different ways you can collect payments from people, debit card, credit card, online, in person, batch billing. So batch billing is like the old country club model, right? Everything racks up on your bill, and once a month they, debit your card or whatever. A lot of these new public facilities do not use batch billing because their members don't want their husbands and wives to know the amount of money they are spending at that club or facility every month. So they just let them charge, and then they're fighting the credit card charges and the payment processing charges and stuff. So it's like, you got to have a choice for everybody. You got to be able to, like, don't let the husband know how much his wife spent on tennis, but also at the same time, batch bill every month, right? And so the change is having options and letting people have the choices within our system to make the choice of how they want to use Court Reserve.
And how have you seen requests for communication? Because I think that's one of the bigger things where I don't know if you're becoming a CRM.
Right.
It's a software system, because that's a bit of a different thing.
Yep.
But not really too difficult to stick a database in what you've already got all the information.
Yeah.
The before, during, and after communication of push notifications, a thank you for booking a court. I've never seen that before. I just came up with that idea. I don't know why. Maybe if you'd like to do it again, or here's a picture from the camera we hung up that you don't know about, but we're going to sell you video. Because we also had somebody recently ask at an RSPA event what it would be like from a GoTennis perspective. Can you help us sell online lessons to our members? And the question targeted cameras on court, but they didn't really know that. Like, you got to have a camera out there. My suggestion is it's really easy. You let it run. They can press a button and they record it or not. And then they can send it to their coach and say, here's $100.
Charge me.
Here's $100 and tell me about my match. That's so easy to do. And you can sell that with the communication, the before, during, and after.
Oh, yeah. We do that already. We partner with Save My Play, and even PlaySite's doing it. We're finishing up our integration with PlaySite. So clubs can do exactly that, right? I could be at a club across the country, send you my video, and you as a coach could charge me $100 and review my video. Or use AI, because they're all using AI right now to also do some of that teaching.
Which
I think
I would not do.
I have not had any AI coaching, but I cannot imagine how good it could be right now.
It's just, there are some things out there that work, but if it's just a generic, I'm going to stick my video and ask Grok what he thinks about my forehand, AI is not there yet. That's not it. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that have built AI for this, meaning there are some out there that are using that kind of information and that kind of technology. But I would still want my coach, and it's not a knock on just I pay $1,500 to have Mary Jo Fernandez to help me with my game. If you want to do that. That's fine. But my coach knows me and my struggles. And that's where the coaches are all thinking, okay, how is this going to help me? If I'm paying $100 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever my range is for my club management software, how can I use it to actually make money as opposed to having it be a cost?
That's good. Well, I go back to what you said about the CRM. About a year and a half ago, we integrated with a company called Patch. And Patch, if you want to use Patch at Court Reserve, it's an integration. And so you can set it up to have automated everything. So like here in St. Augustine, Tim and I, we own Old Coast Pickleball. So when our people come and play or they have a lesson, 15 minutes after they walk out the door, they get a text. How was your lesson from 1 to 5? Here's your birthday coupon code. Here is an email because we haven't seen you at the club in the last 30 days. Where are you? Come back on, here's $5. Come back on us. So again, it's all the data, right? And so we're going from those old time coaches who love pen and paper and sticking the $20 bill in their pocket and remembering Sally gave it to him, to all of these high tech facilities, where you're getting text messages and coupon codes to bring you back in the door. I think this is the most exciting time to be in our industry. I think it's great.
I can't disagree, considering the conversations I've had in the last couple of weeks around the country. people calling me saying, Shaun, this is so interesting. Look at what's happening. Or, hey, what do you think is going on here? USTA jumping into certifications, fighting with PTR and RSPA, and everybody pretending it's all okay, and all the things happening, and Padel thinking it's going to be the next big thing, and pickleball still just doing what pickleball does. And then Steve Bellamy comes out and says, I got a great idea on how to use pickleball courts. So there's so much going on that I can't disagree. It really is a great time. And can you stay ahead of it?
Right.
That's a bit of the question, which is anticipating a club or a member's needs.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if somebody wanted to find out about, what's happening with you guys, is there a website? Is there some social media? What do we got?
What do you mean?
All
Is
right.
there a website?
Tell us how to get to you guys.
Okay. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to spell it out. American Racket Sports Association.com. You got to spell the whole thing out. We got a few others that actually, you know what? GPTA.com still forwards to the ARA site. So we just call it the ARA or the association, but it is the long URL of American Racket Sports Association. I'm easy to find on LinkedIn. I'm looking to connect. That's the biggest thing. I have found that we get to meet so many people and learn so much that, who knew with a professional networking system that you'd meet so many people? But it's the kind of thing that we want to let everybody know what we're doing. We want to know anybody even ancillary to the racket sports world. We can have a member. Like the DCA is very niche. You got to be this, you got to be targeting this, and we want you to be a part of it. For us, if you're a stringer, if you run a pro shop, we now have institutional level memberships. So Fancy Country Club in New England can become a member, and all of their staff become individual members because of that. Those memberships are now exchangeable. You have somebody leave, somebody comes in, the membership leaves with the person who left, and you can just replace them with the member that came in. So we've upgraded the concepts of what we're doing, and pretty easy to find online, because as you try to grow, we're running ads and putting social media out there and creating partnerships and trying to find out who wants to get connected. And that's really what we're trying to do. And as much as we can, be visible. Now, it isn't, it's all about us. But in this case, we're doing similar to what you're doing, which is, what do you need? Mm-hmm. How can we help? That's the GoTennis mentality. It isn't just, here's the product, buy it or don't. It's, hey, these are the things we offer. Is there something else you want? We can do that too.
I love that. Well, thanks for coming on Unscripted.
Well, see you again next week. Sounds like we can just keep going. Well, like regular contribution.
Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you'd like to learn more about how CourtReserve became the go-to club management software for racket and paddle sport clubs, come say hello over on our website. There's a link in the show notes.